We are in a plantation house that we rented for the night, for the day yesterday, part of today. We got the entire house to ourselves, and it is just so beautiful here in Louisiana. This is a Waterford chandelier. This is the bed we slept in. An oversized queen, magnificent bed, the most comfortable bed I ever slept in my life.
It really was comfortable.
Very comfortable. I'm sitting here in the parlor of the Bocage Mansion, and I thought I'd read you a little bit of history. Bocage is another house erected by the great Brangier family, who built the Hermitage and even the more famous White Hall. Marius Pons Brangier, head of the family, presented his house, this house, in 1801, it is said, to his daughter Francoise, then 14 years old, as her wedding gift. Her husband, Christophe Colomb, then 31, was quite a remarkable character. In France, he belonged to the class which helped bring on the French Revolution. Then fleeing to Santo Domingo, he found himself, shortly, amid other social upheaval, this time the slaves, and came to America in 1795. It was not long after his arrival in Louisiana that he found himself being entertained by the Brangiers. He was an adventurer, but in addition, he had all the social graces. He was a good musician, dancer, vocalist, and he was wealthy. So Francois and Christophe, after they were married, the later declined towards labor, found a somewhat unusual, but as it turned out, a quite happy pattern of life. Francois directed the work in the cane fields and sugar mills, and she saw that Christophe's wants were met. Christophe, for his part, played music brilliantly, entertained the company at their social gatherings, and had built for himself a delightful boat with tinted sails and a fringed silken canopy. In this, the boat, reclining on his cushions and rowed by his slaves, he went along the bayous, visiting the numerous relatives and friends, while composing verses for his dearest wife. Lest those who adhere to the mistaken concept that all poets are effeminate and feel that here they have found another example, it must be said that Christophe was quite able to take care of himself, and he did, on those occasions when he felt it necessary to do so. Among such occasions were several in which his descent from the French branch of the family of Christopher Columbus, America's discoverer, was questioned. Francois and Christophe were very happy together, despite all the odds, for more than 20 years, or 20 years. The house itself was two-storied and square, with a very unusual arrangement for its 8 plastered brick columns supporting the heavy square, 6 of them heavy, but the 2 central ones rather thin, and set close to the adjoining pillars. There were the usual wide central halls. In the 1840s, much remodeling had to take place. Interior decorations in Empire style were added. A magnificent double folding door on the 2nd floor, and a floor of black and white diamond tiles below. But then the lean years came, and the house was abandoned. It became occupied by squatters. Finally, at the time this picture was made, in February of 1938, the roof had fallen in, and the upper floor, and the winter had come. So the roof had fallen in, and the upper floor had fallen down to the lower, is what it was saying here. And winter had come, the winter not merely of the seasons, but the winter of neglect and ruin. The house seemed to radiate the cold of human untenancy. The house seemed to radiate the cold of human untenacity. an effect heightened by the bare, stiff arch of the tree. Okay, let me do that one again. The house seemed to radiate the cold of the neglect, an effect heightened by the bare, stiff arch of the tree limb against the cold gray of the winter sky. Some years ago, this house appeared in a section of the Farm Security Administration documentary film, The River. But now, a new phase in what seemed the dying life of this house had begun. Under the recent ownership of Dr. E.G. Kohlsdorf and his wife, the former Dr. Anita Crozat, it's being restored by means of some of the most modern techniques yet used on any of the houses. The walls, newly insulated, will be more capable than they were originally of withstanding the climate, and it's now stronger than ever. Bocage will be able to face the years. And they did an excellent job remodeling. I mean, this is just the pièce de résistance of places to stay. This is the finest place that I've ever stayed in, by far, and just the people are just so friendly and happy, and it's a bed and breakfast. They actually made us breakfast. It was like, wow, you mean I don't have to have beans over an open fire for breakfast this morning? I don't have to go out and kill a squirrel today? You know? And Karen's sitting here, she's loving it, and these chairs are just perfect, so. Yeah, they gave us an open invite, to do some recording and some filming and put this here on the channel, for everybody to see. I mean, this is like another first, the first time the inside's been filmed and used and shown. And it's for anyone, you could be, if you're disabled, they got doors, the huge giant doors, open up and you can bring wheelchairs in or whatever, or you can just like me and Karen or anybody of any age, this is the perfect house for anybody. If you want to spend that wonderful weekend together or whatever, and you can rent the upstairs, you can rent the whole place, you can just get a room. We were just lucky enough to be the only ones here. And wow.
My name is Roberto Treviño. I'm the innkeeper of Bocage Plantation. The story that you just heard Reed tell you, which was right out of the book, Ghost Along the Mississippi, it's a great story. However, there is another story to this house. For many, many years, people thought that the original house was the one that we are sitting in right now. However, this house wasn't built in 1801. The previous house that was built in 1801, which was a wedding gift for Francois Brangier and her husband, Christophe Colomb, who is known also as a descendant of Christopher Columbus. That house was built in 1801, and it would have been a Creole-style plantation house that was built about 40 feet behind this one. Some of the old remnants of that old house are still back there. If you dig around deep enough, you still find the remains of charred brick, broken glass, and other pieces of porcelain that we have found while excavating back there. The original house burnt down sometime about the 1830s, around 1835 is when we believe. Around that same time, there was a gentleman, James Dakin, who is a famous architect known for the old state capitol building in Baton Rouge. And he is the one that's been credited for building this house here. About that time, in 1835 through 1837 is when that original house, when that last house burned down, and about 1835 through 1837 is when this house was being built. Was last built in 1837, and then the history is what Reed gave you guys in the book.
And even we have the children's chairs, or what these actually are. They were demo chairs when they were made back in the 1800s. The furniture makers would make demo chairs so their salesmen could take them to the different places and they could demo the chairs. And this is actually one of those demo chairs they used. Very plush chair, but here in the house, the children have their own comfortable chair to sit that fits them, for the 3- and 4-year-olds and so on.
And for those of you guys that have watched a lot of the YouTube videos that Reed has posted online, you know that he is a gold miner. One interesting thing about this incredible clock that's hanging behind us, it was once hanging in a fort up near the Ohio area that when the 49ers were moving over to California, a lot of them had their pocket watches and they would set their timepieces to this clock that's been hanging here from in those years. Is this good? Yeah. As you guys tour this house, you'll see that we have a lot of nice furniture pieces in here. We have some very famous names like John and Joseph Meeks. We also have Belter and Good Millard. And we also have this wonderful mantle clock sitting up here that is from Tiffany and Company. I hope you guys decide to come and visit our house someday and learn a lot more of the history and the furniture that sits in this house. The chair that we are sitting on, that Reed and I are sitting on, is called a casus. It's got other names. A lot of people call it a courting chair, is what they confuse it with. They also mention that it is it's a lobby chair, is what it was back in the 1800s. The reason why they call it a courting chair is because you can have the chaperone and then the girlfriend and the boyfriend sitting on the opposite side. That way the girlfriend and boyfriend would never be sitting close together.
Yeah, they couldn't see each other.
Couldn't see each other either.
So you had them dad sitting over here with a shotgun.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Another great thing about this, no, listen.
So we're getting to tour the grounds, you know, and just have a good time.
Around the front of the house so you can get the front.
Okay. So work around the hill on the levee. I got the Mississippi on my left, about 100 feet over. You can see little parts of it from here. And that beautiful shot of the house. Okay, go ahead.
Bocage Plantation, built in 1801 by Marius Pons Brangier as a wedding gift for daughter Fanny, who married Christophe Colomb, a French refugee, remodeled by architect James Dakin in 1837, restored by Dr. and Mrs. E.G. Kosdorf in 1941.
And what are the silos over there?
These were used to catch rainwater, so they were cisterns.
Oh, okay, cisterns.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Oh, it's old well, huh? The old well? Yeah. No bodies down there?
Not that we have found.
No horror flicks were made from this well?
No, not yet. We haven't found any.
What's that movie where the girl walks out?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of actually. But this is a cistern right here where they collect the rainwater. Now, how did it collect rainwater? Did it have pipes up top or something? Or?
You would have a downspout that came off the house.
Oh, really?
Into the cistern.
Oh, wow. So the house collected the water and put it into the cistern. That would have been a lot of water.
I think that's the way it went.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
And they had one each side of the house. Wow, cool. How do we luck into these things? You know? We rented a mansion for the single room rate, bed and breakfast. It was worth every penny.